How we doing? Oh, there's my voice. Hey everybody, welcome to Tub Trivia. My name is Justin Dodd, but you can call me Bubbles McGee if you want to. I mean, I don't know why you would. Like I said, my legal name is Justin Dodd, but if you wanted to call me Bubbles McGee, you can. Just no one calls me that, so I wouldn't respond to it, so it doesn't make sense. But if you wanted to, you absolutely can. This is live trivia from my bathtub, so let's get started with your first trivia question for a quick bonus point. Which dog breed is currently ranked number 2 on the American Kennel Club's list of most popular dog breeds? Ranked number 2, currently, right now. Favorite dog in America. Type your answer into the chat if you think you know what kind of dog it is. Here's an extra hint. Sam from 2007's I Am Legend is one of these dogs. Whoa, big hit. Big hint right there. Type your answer if you think you know it. You'll get an immediate point, be ahead of everyone else if you get this one right. You got 3 more seconds. Type it in. 3, 2, 1. The answer is the German Shepherd. Yep, the German Shepherd is currently ranked number 2 on the American Kennel Club's list of most popular dog breeds. And that's what Sam from I Am Legend was. Yep. Abby and Kona are the dogs, the celebrity dogs that played Sam in that movie. Both 3-year-old German Shepherds, superstars, if I might add. One of the most heart-wrenching performances in decades. Not even being sarcastic. Truly cried my eyes out. If you got that right, give yourself a point right now. Congratulations. And that's basically how the rest of the night is gonna go. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions split up into 4 different rounds. Every time you get a question right, you get a point. At the end, tally up all of your points and we will shout out the winners. Simple, right? Who knew trivia in a bathtub could be so easy? Well, don't get ahead of yourself. I picked some wild categories this week. Let's check out the first one, which is 1-star reviews. 1-star reviews. Yeah, look, especially in the internet age, everybody really is a critic. One of the best places to find harsh reviews is Amazon. You've heard of Amazon, right? Little company, sells books, I think. Well, all the following are real 1-star movie reviews left by Amazon customers. Can you name the movie based on its harsh review? This is going to be multiple choice, so just feel free to drop me an A, B, or C in the chat for your answer. Here we go. Your first 1-star movie review. The main character is unlikable and a jerk to her sister. The sister, however, is terrific. What movie are they talking about? Your choices are Little Women, Frozen, or Pride and Prejudice. What movie are they talking about? They're just real upset about that main character being so mean to her sister. What movie did this person give a 1-star review to? Type your answer in, give you a few more seconds. The answer we're looking for is B, Frozen. Yeah, Frozen. Person was not a fan of Elsa, apparently. But you know what? I think they should just let it just pass that feeling right along. That's what they say, right? Also, fun fact, Frozen is based on the Hans Christian Andersen story, The Snow Queen, which was made into a Soviet animated film in 1957. And then after being released in America by Universal, the main character of Gerda was voiced by Sandra Dee. Sandra Dee, the original Gerda, a coveted role. Question number 2. The movie was disjointed, the characters listless. The writers and the actors obviously wanted to be done with the series. Harsh. A harsh review. What movie are they talking about? Are they talking about Avengers Endgame, Revenge of the Sith, which is Star Wars Episode 3, if we're keeping track, or Lethal Weapon 4? Which movie was disjointed with the characters just listless? What movie are we talking about? Did you guess? The movie we're looking for is Avengers Endgame. Yeah, A, Avengers Endgame. Not a fan of the most successful film of all time, apparently. 1 star. $2.7 billion at the box office, by the way. I don't know if you knew this, but that's a lot of money. Number 3. After watching this movie, my wife made me get an in-home security system with cameras and motion sensors for my son's room. What movie are they talking about? Scared him so much, had to get cameras for their son's room. Child's Play, The Exorcist, or Toy Story? Which movie got a 1-star review because it just scared this man's wife? Is it Chucky? Was it the devil? Or was it Woody and Buzz? Type your answer into the chat. Did you guess? Toy Story! Yeah, C. Toy Story. Got a terrible review because it was too scary. I mean, it's not a horror movie, but if you think about it, it is horrific what is actually happening. It's pretty terrifying. I don't blame them. Also, fun fact, Woody was potentially going to be voiced by Billy Crystal, which would have been a very different Woody, but I think he makes a better Mike Wazowski anyway, so all good. Question number 4. Here's your review. If this movie is really based on a true story, it just goes to show criminals that crime does pay. What movie are they talking about? A, Catch Me If You Can, B, Wolf of Wall Street, or C, Bonnie and Clyde? Which movie apparently is just teaching all the wrong lessons to potential criminals out there? 1 star. Type your answer into the chat if you think you know what terrible movie we're talking about. Did you guess? A, Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, that's right. Steven Spielberg directed, Leonardo DiCaprio starring, Tom Hanks also in the of Steven Spielberg's films have not been scored by John Williams. I mean, I guess that just goes to show you that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? Question number 5. I thought this movie was about birds. Needless to say, I was disappointed. Needless to say, I was disappointed. A, Black Swan. B, Birdman. C, Wings of Glory. What movie are we talking about? Thought it was about birds. It is definitely not about birds. Type your answer into the chat, and that will be the end of round number 1. Cruising right along. Did you guess? This movie that's not really about birds is Birdman. Yep, B, Birdman. That was the answer we were looking for. Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, was shot by Emmanuel Lubezki, who won the Academy Award for Cinematography for his work on this movie, an award that he had just won the year before for shooting Gravity. And then he won it again a 3rd year in a row for The Revenant. What a streak. What an impressive win streak this guy had. Wow. 3 years in a row? Are you kidding me? That is the end of round number 1. If you hate movies and love telling the internet about it, you probably killed that round. How's everybody doing? Who's got a perfect score of 6 points so far? Let us know. In the meantime, everybody check your bath water. How's everybody doing? Got enough bubbles? Gonna add a little extra warm water? That sound right? Let's move on to round number 2, which is all about dogs. Yep, it's all about dogs. This is the dog round. You already got a little bit of a taste for it in the beginning round. I like a lot of people I know. Oh, hold up. Just making sure we're still connected here. How are we looking? We looking good? I mean, I can't be looking fuzzy for my dog round, the coveted dog round. Okay, we're good. Like most people, I've just been thinking about dogs a lot because, you know, it's a bit of a lonely time to be a human. So I've been on the American Kennel Club's website a lot, doing a lot of personal research up and down. So let's take time to talk about dogs a little bit. Remember, adopt, don't shop. Let's begin. Question number 1. Which came first? The Lassie television series, the Lassie radio show, or the Lassie film? Which came first? This isn't multiple choice. I mean, this one technically is multiple choice, but this round, you just got to know the answer and you got to type it in. Which came first? Lassie TV show, Lassie radio show, or Lassie film? Did you guess that this answer is the film? Yeah, the Lassie film came first. Technically, the Lassie novel came out in 1940. The film starring Elizabeth Taylor and Roddy McDowall came out in 1943. Then the radio show began in 1947, and the TV series didn't begin until 1954 and ran for almost 20 years. Lassie, gotta go save that kid in the well. Billy? Timmy? Ricky? I don't know who fell in the well, but we saved him. Question number 2. Which long and fluffy-eared dog, popular in the 40s and the 80s, has been ranked number 1 on the American Kennel Club's list of most popular dog breeds for the most years in total? Most years in total. So they might not currently be ranked number 1, but over the course of the last 100 years has held the number 1 spot for the most years. Who are we talking about? Type your answer into the chat if you think you know. Which 20th century president was accused of spending thousands of taxpayers' dollars to rescue his Scottish Terrier, Fala? What is it? Which dog? Not which dog, we know it's Fala. Which president? Which president are we talking about? Got in trouble because the rumor was that they spent a lot of money to go save their dog after it got lost somewhere. The answer is FDR. Yeah, FDR got in a little bit of a trouble because people thought that Fala got left somewhere and then he had to go rescue it and spent a lot of money. Turns out it wasn't true at all. And then in a speech that later became known as the Fala speech, FDR fought back against these claims, saying, "I am accustomed to hearing malicious falsehoods about myself, but I think I have a right to object to libelous statements about my dog." And then some historians even believe that this speech specifically helped FDR's historic 4th re-election. Wow. Well, I guess 3rd re-election to his 4th term. You know what I'm talking about. We let that guy be president for a long time. Question number 4. Contrary to popular belief, Anubis, the Egyptian god of death, is said to not have the head of a black dog, but of this canine. Okay? You know who I'm talking about, right? Anubis, you've probably seen pictures, body of a man, but it looks like a black dog head. Turns out, not a dog, it's actually this canine. Which one is it? Type your answer in the chat. Let's see if you got it right. Did you guess that canine on Anubis's head is a jackal? Yeah, it's a jackal. Anubis has the head of a jackal. Yeah, it turns out in pre-dynastic Egypt, when the dead were buried in shallow graves, jackals had been strongly associated with cemeteries because they were scavengers and they would uncover human bodies and eat their flesh. Yikes. So naturally, Anubis, the god of death and mummification, has the head of a jackal. Makes sense in a gross way. Your final question in the dogs category. Which small dog is ranked 4th on the American Kennel Club's list of most popular dog breed in America, but number 1 in New York City and Chicago specifically? Which small dog is ranked 4th across the country, but number 1 in New York City and Chicago specifically? Which dog am I talking about? Did you guess that tiny, tiny goblin is the French Bulldog? Yeah, the French Bulldog is number 1 in New York and Chicago. The French Bulldog's origins are murky, but most sources trace their roots to English Bulldogs, which, makes sense. Turns out that lace makers in England would use smaller versions of English Bulldogs, like toy versions or like the runts of certain litters, as lap warmers while they worked. And then when the lace industry moved to France, they took their dogs with them, and then their English bulldogs probably bred with terriers to create bulldogs français, or, French bulldogs. Big shout out to Annette Leary, who might be the only person who got the right. They obviously know their way around metropolis tiny dogs. By the way, if you're wondering what the number one dog is currently, I think we can all probably guess it in America. It's the Labrador Retriever. Just the classic. What can you do? Just the classic dog right there. That is the end of round number 2. Dogs are the best thing to happen to this earth, so I'm glad we could all learn a little bit more about them together. Count up your scores. Let me know how everybody's doing. Looks like Annette Leary has the only chance of potentially having a perfect score right now. I mean, we went from bad movies to dogs. We're all over the place. I mean, who even knows where we're going to go for round 3? I do. I know where we're going to go. And I'll reveal it in just a moment. Look, I just satisfied all the dog lovers out there. So naturally, I want to throw a bone to the cat lovers out there. So obviously, the cat round is going to come next. Okay, don't worry. Unfortunately for you guys, it's about cats with a capital C. Yep, I'm talking about the musical. I'm so sorry, guys. It's our this or that round. Cats or Dickens. For this round, you have to tell me, is the following name the name of a character from the fever dream musical Cats, or a name from the classic novels of Charles Dickens? It's going to be either a Charles Dickens character, or it'll be one of the cats from Cats. By the way, did you know that Cats is based on an old T.S. Eliot poetry collection? If only T.S. knew what kind of monster he was creating. Cats or Dickens? Let's begin. Captain Cuddle. Are they from Cats, or are they from any Charles Dickens novel? You tell me. Just type in Cats or Dickens into the chat. Cats or Dickens? So sorry. I almost did a real cat round about actual cats, but something came over me. Captain Cuddle. Is that from Cats, or is that from a Dickens novel? Did you guess? Dickens. Yep, that's from Dickens. It's from a novel called Dombey and Son. And Captain Cuddle is a retired sea captain. Sounds like it could be a very cuddly cat. It's not. It's a cuddly old sailor. Which, honestly, just as good. Just as nice. Question number 2. Pardiggle. 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 However you want to say it, you tell me. Are they from Cats, or are they from a Charles Dickens novel? Pardiggle. They're all really fun to say. Not so fun to look at if they're from Cats. Pardiggle. Did you guess that Pardiggle is from another Dickens novel? Yeah, Pardiggle is an entire family. The Pardiggle family. Mr. and Mrs. Pardiggle. We got the whole gang. And it's from Bleak House. That's where Pardiggle is from. Not from Cats. Question number 3. Mr. Mistopheles. Is that a cat? Or is that a man from a Charles Dickens novel? You tell me. Cats or Dickens? It'd be pretty amazing if it were just 10 Dickens novels in a row, right? That would be pretty sneaky there, sis. Mr. Mistopheles. Did you guess Mr. Mistopheles is from Cats? That's our first terrifying cat. Mr. Mistopheles is described as a young and black and white tuxedo cat with magical powers that he cannot yet fully control. What is this musical trying to accomplish? I don't know. Moving on to question Wig. Grimwig. Is Grimwig from Cats? Or is Grimwig from a Dickens novel? You tell me. Grimwig. Did you guess that Grimwig is Dickens? Yep, Grimwig is from Oliver Twist, actually. Mr. Grimwig is a curmudgeonly old man. Grimwig. Kind of sounds right, yeah? Also, sounds like a cat. Question number 5. Jelly Lorem. All of these also just sound like they could be like weird candies or something. I don't know. None of these names make sense. Also, it's like Charles Dickens. You're like a prestigious writer. Where are the, Jane Does and the John Smiths? Where did we get all these weird names from? All right, Jelly Lorem. Where's it from? Did you guess? Cats. Yep, Jelly Lorem is a cat. It's one of the Jellicle cats, portrayed as a motherly caretaker. That's Jelly Lorem for you. That's it. That's all we got to say about Jelly Lorem. Truly, it sounds like something I could buy at the bakery and it'd be delicious. Question number 6, Griddlebone. It's all just like a couple words or letters strung together and then you get a weird name. Griddlebone. Is that from Cats or is that from a Dickens novel? You tell me. Type your answer into the chat. Griddlebone. It's a good name for like a young caveman as well. Griddlebone. Did you guess? The answer is Cats. Griddlebone's from Cats. Yep, Griddlebone is a white, fluffy Persian queen. Griddlebone. Of course, it's a Persian. Duh. I don't know. Look, I'll admit, I've never seen a production of Cats the Musical, nor did I see the movie. And I don't even feel the need to defend that. Question number 7. Sergeant Buzzfuzz. Is Sergeant Buzzfuzz from Cats or from a Charles Dickens novel? Seriously, what is Charles Dickens doing if he can even be related to Cats the Musical? Sergeant Buzzfuzz, what are they from? Type your answer into the chat. Did you guess that Sergeant Buzzfuzz is a Dickens character? Yeah, it's an attorney in the Pickwick Papers. I mean, obviously, who wouldn't you want to representing you in court than Sergeant Buzzfuzz? Of course. How would the jury not just immediately throw the trial? Question number 8. Carbuckety. Carbuckety. Once again, just 2 different words stuck together with a few extra letters at the end. What is Carbuckety from? Is that a cat? Or is that like a doctor in a very important Charles Dickens book? Carbuckety. Oh boy. Carbuckety. Type your answer in. 3, 2, 1. That is a cat. It's a cat. It's a cat from Cats. Yep. And by the way, this one is, obviously one of the cats that was also one of the original T.S. Eliot cats. And T.S. Eliot named the cat Carbuckety to make it sound like, I quote, a knockabout cat. That was his goal, to make it sound like a knockabout cat. Question number 1. What the heck is a knockabout cat? Question number 2. Did he nail it? I don't know, because I don't know what any of those words mean. T.S. Eliot, Charles Dickens, and Andrew Lloyd Webber, y'all are weirdos. Question number 9. Cheerable. Cheerable. That's kind of a nice name. Hey, Cheerable. Yeah. I mean, it's got the word cheer in it, so how could you not feel good when you say it? Cheerable. Is that Cats or is that Dickens? You tell me. The answer we are looking for Cheerable. Final answer's in. That's a Dickens character. Cheerable. Yep. It's a benevolent businessman in Nicholas Nickleby. See, Nicholas Nickleby, that's a name. Cheerable, not a name. Seems like Dickens just randomly throws darts at a dartboard to just pick names for important characters. Your final question in the Cats or Dickens round is Caricapat. Caricapat? Caricopat. Caricapat. If you put an Irish kind of twang on it. Caricapat. I can't do accents. Don't ask me to do any accents. If you do, you're immediately disqualified. It's not an official rule, but I'll see to it that it gets enforced. Caricapat. Who is Caricapat? Are they from Cats? Are they from Dickens? This is your final chance for a point in round number 3 before we move on to the final round. Did you guess? That's a cat. Yep, Caricapat is one half of the Psychic Twins. Obviously. The Psychic Twins. What is happening? That concludes our Cats round. Gosh, those are some weird names. And like honestly, I think Dickens had some of the weirder names going on. Dickens was all over the place. All right, guys, let's get ready for our final round, where we just take all of the knowledge of the universe, we squeeze it into one round, and what do you get? You get everything but the kitchen sink, baby. The kitchen sink round. It's basically our potpourri round, right? Full of various questions about any and all subjects. The answers might follow some kind of pattern. They might not. Who's to say? Well, me. I'm to say, because I wrote them, but let's just move on. And stop calling me Bubbles McGee. It's okay, you're allowed to. It's a free country. I'm getting distracted. Let's move on to question number 1 of our kitchen sink round. Bimini twist, Australian braid, and figure 8 are all types of what? Bimini twist, Australian braid, and figure 8 are all types of what? If you know one of them, it's really going to help. Also want to give a shout out to Sarah Kurosawa, who I have shouted out many times for being extremely good at trivia, and I got to do it once again because Sarah Kurosawa is coming in with many right answers. Who can beat Kurosawa? Bimini twist, Australian braid, and figure 8 are all types of what? Type your answer in. Final answers. Did you guess that those are, where my Boy Scouts at? Knots. Yeah, those are all types of knots. And also, might I say that all knots sound like they could also be the names of fancy cocktails? Right? Bimini twist? Sounds delicious. By the way, the definition of a knot actually involves the phrase, an intentional complication in cordage. Which I think is amazing, and is also like a very accurate way to describe a knot. It's just you intentionally made cordage more complicated. I love that. Question number 2. Which gladiator helped lead a slave uprising against the Roman Republic in the 1st century BC? Name of that gladiator. I'll give you a hint. I'm not talking about Nitro from 1989's American Gladiator. I'm talking about, you know, the OG gladiators. A couple years before 1989. A couple thousand. What is the name of the gladiator? Led an uprising in ancient Rome. Did you know we're talking about Spartacus? Yeah, you probably heard of Spartacus, probably because of the famous movie called Spartacus. Fun fact, I went to a performance art show in college where 2 people, just prior to the start of the show, watched the entirety of the film Spartacus while drinking an entire handle of whiskey. And then as soon as it ended, they were driven to the performance space, and then the show was just them trying to recount the entire plot of Spartacus over an hour. It was very entertaining, and I do not recommend anyone trying that at home. Question number 3. The 2019 Oscar winner for Best International Feature Film was from which country? 2019 Oscar winner. Best International Feature Film. Best International Feature Film. What country was it from? Once again, this is technically multiple choice because, I mean, there's only so many countries. We'd have to invent some new letters because, you know, I think there's more than 26, but we'll see. Which country? A bigger clue probably could have been that it also won Best Picture. We're talking about South Korea. Yeah, South Korea, because we're talking about Parasite, Bong Joon-ho's masterpiece Parasite. Actually took home 4 Oscars that year. Legendary. One of the best movies of the last decade. Came from South Korea. Love it. Question number 4. Which Hollywood actor's name means cool breeze over the mountains in native Hawaiian? Which Hollywood actor's name means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian? Which actor? Type your answer into the chat. If anybody knew Hawaiian, this would be very easy. Or if anyone is a big celebrity, and let me tell you, I think there probably will be some playing with us tonight because gotta be one of the most beloved celebrities in Hollywood. We're talking about Reeves. Oh, the most important man in my life. I could honestly give you hundreds of fun facts about Keanu Reeves from my own memory, but I shall resist that urge. But I will tell you all about his cool name. Keanu Reeves means cool breeze over the mountains. And it's because his father is of native Hawaiian descent. Also, Keanu Reeves was born in Lebanon, was raised in Canada, and is also of Chinese and English descent. What a worldly guy. Question number 5. Which unit of measurement was named after William Thomson's work with thermodynamics? Which unit of measurement was named after William Thomson's work with thermodynamics? Talking about a specific unit of measurement. So once again, there's only so many that we're talking about. And we're talking about thermodynamics, which truthfully is, if someone tells me they work in thermodynamics, I just immediately assume they are much smarter than I am. Because I don't know what they're talking about. Type your answer in. Did you know that we are talking about the Kelvin? Yeah, the Kelvin. You remember that? We always forget about the Kelvin because we're so obsessed with Fahrenheit and Celsius. But Kelvin, another way to talk about temperature. By the way, if you're confused why the Kelvin is named after someone named William Thomson, well, let me explain it to you. He was actually ennobled, which means he became a lord or baron, and the name he chose was Kelvin, Baron Kelvin, because Kelvin is the name of a river that flowed near his laboratory. So now, he's known as Lord Kelvin. Congratulations, William Thomson, aka Baron Kelvin. Question number 6. Which biblical ruler is said to have built the first temple in Jerusalem? Which biblical ruler is said to have built the first temple in Jerusalem? Type your answer into the chat if you think you know who we're talking about. Halfway through the final round. How's everybody feeling? Ready to find out who this ruler is? I know you are, because we're all huge fans of King Solomon. That's who we're talking about, King Solomon, a very rich and wise king, reportedly, of the United Kingdom of Israel. This guy's mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, in the Old Testament, in the Quran, and even in non-biblical circles, he's known as a magician or even sometimes an exorcist. Exorcist and king of Israel? Those are very different jobs. History is weird, but also important. Prohibition. What a time. Question number 8. Khartoum is the capital of which African country? This question is a straight shot. Khartoum, capital, which country? Khartoum, capital of which African country? Type your answer in. Did you know we are talking about Sudan? Yep, talking about Sudan. Khartoum is the capital of Sudan. The origin of the name Khartoum is uncertain, but certain scholars believe that it is derived from the Dinka words Kar and Tuum, meaning place where rivers meet. And they're talking about the Blue Nile and the White Nile. Makes sense. The more you know about Khartoum. That's it. Question number 9. Which guitar-wielding dog, created by Nintendo in 2001, has a track list of over 90 songs? We're talking about dogs again because we just can't get enough of them. Talking about a guitar-wielding, singing dog who was created by Nintendo in 2001 and has a track list of over 90 songs. That's an impressive discography. Who are we talking about? What is the name of this dog? If you have no idea, this is probably very confusing. Nintendo, big hint. 2001, big hint. Huge collection of songs, big hint. We're talking about KK Slider, one of the most iconic characters in video games, and is actually back in the zeitgeist because of the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yep, that's right, KK Slider, whose, fun fact, his full name is Tota Keke Slider, hence KK Slider. Hip, musical Jack Russell Terrier who will serenade you on the weekends. And once again, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, look it up. KK Slider, an incredible creation in the world of video games. Question number 10, your final question of the evening. Which athlete holds the record for most gymnastic world medals with 25? They got 25 world medals. Which athlete Which athlete am I talking about? Type your answer in, and then you can start tallying up your score, because that's it. We did it. We made it to the end. Congratulations. I hope everybody is nice and clean now. Hope maybe you got some chance to condition. It's always important. Maybe make sure to put moisturizer on when you leave the bath. A lot of people don't think about that, but just water will dry you out. Very confusing that way, how water works. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know what I'm talking about. The answer I'm looking for this one is Simone Biles. Simone Biles, the legend, right? She's so young, and yet she already holds 7 Guinness World Record titles. And honestly, I read through them all. I don't understand what most of them mean. They sound very impressive, but I don't know anything about sports or gymnastics, so they're all just words. But they all sound cool, like she got the first triple-double in a gymnastics competition. Triple-double? That's a lot of gymnastics. That's it, guys. We made it to the end of round number 4 and the end of Tub Trivia episode 7. Congratulations to all of us, especially to this duck who remains nameless and desperately needs a name. Please, for the love of King Solomon, give this poor fella a name. Everybody, please tally up your scores and let us know what your final score is. We'd love to shout you out, right? And while you do that, let me leave you with your final fun fact of the day. Did you know that Charles Dickens actually had a cat? It's all connected. Charles Dickens had a cat. That cat's name was Bob, and he loved Bob so much that after Bob unfortunately passed away, he took one of Bob's paws and turned it into a letter opener. Yep. Charles Dickens' letter opener that he would use on a daily basis was made from a dead cat's paw. It's actually a very fancy, nice-looking letter opener. It just happens to have an entire... If you want to see a picture of it, it's actually available on the New York Public Library's digital collections. You can look at a picture. It's very fascinating to look at. Let us know your final scores if you think you did well, and we will shout you out. I think it's always something to be proud of, to be actively pursuing knowledge. Even if that knowledge that you're pursuing is very silly, I still think it is important and deserves some recognition, right? This one specifically means you were a fan of movies, or I guess not a fan of movies since they're 1-star reviews. It means you love dogs, which means you're A-okay in my book, and you either knew a lot about cats or Charles Dickens. One of those things is something to be proud of. Thank you everyone so much for joining us on this Friday evening. We will see everybody again in 2 weeks, which will put us at exactly August 7th, if my math serves me correctly. We will see everybody then. I can't wait to see what categories I can possibly come up with that will make everyone upset. If anybody ever has a round idea, feel free to leave it in the chat, or you can shoot us an email at tubtrivia@minutemedia.com. If you ever have a round idea, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to do them. Honestly, I can only think of so many ridiculous round ideas, so it would really help. Until then, this has been Bubbles McGee, signing off.